So today we're going to review a few things with slope. Today we're going to look at plotting a point and graphing the slope when we only have one point to start with and the slope's angle. So in this case, we have point -4 and +1. So on our graph, we just go over 4 negatives, and of course, our negative side is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have +1, so we go towards the positive side on the y, 1. So when we plot our point, we can plot it on that point, nice and big so you can see it. Then we have a slope of 2. Well, another way of saying 2 as a fraction is, of course, 2/1. So our slope is essentially 2/1. So now I just go +2 and +1. So I can again go up 2, 1, 2, that's my y, and then my run is 1. So I have a second point here. And if I want to keep doing that for a few more, I can. But really, you only need a couple of points before you need to connect the dots. And of course, I can do it in reverse, over 1, 2, here, and get a nice line that I can graph. Using a ruler can help. And that's how we can plot a line on a graph, and we can find all the other points if we have the slope and we have one place to start. So now I want to review an alternative method for finding slope. Let's say you're given 2 points and you're told to find the slope. Well, we remember from our previous lessons that the slope equals the change in y over the change in x. Well, the change can also mean the difference. The difference in y over the difference in x. And of course, difference, whenever we hear that vocabulary word, means subtraction. So we can have the first y minus the second y over the first x minus the second x. So we call it y1 and y2 and x1 and x2. So looking at this, we can just say, okay, here can be our y1 and x1, and here can be our y2 and x2. And you can label these in any order, but you need to be consistent as we've looked at in previous videos. So what does that mean? That means we first start with our y's. So our y's are here and here. And we're going to call this our 1, remember, and this our 2. So we have y1, which is 3, minus y2, which is -2, over our x's now, and we have, again, we have to start with the same exact side, our x1, which is -2, minus our x2, which is -5. I'm putting those parentheses there to just avoid confusion about subtracting negatives. So again, we remember our same change rules all the way back when we're subtracting negative numbers. Keep the first number the same, change the sign to its opposite, so in this case subtracting is going to be adding, and change the second sign to its opposite, so -2 is going to become +2. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom in just a minute. So when we have 3 plus +2, that's the same as 3 plus 2. That would give us 5. So our change in y, our difference, is 5. And our change in x, again, we're going to change to plus, change to positive, is going to be 2 plus +5, which is the same thing as 5 minus 2, which is 3. So our slope is 5/3. So that's a way of finding the slope without having to graph anything. All you need are 2 points on the line, and if you find the difference in those points, the change in y over the change in x, then you can find the slope. So some of you might say, well, it's easier for me to find rise over run, but in some cases, for example, if you have hundreds of numbers, you're not going to want to count up a graph that much, so this formula is really going to help you around down the line.